Hello there, folks. I'm Dan Brown from Sort of Interesting Trains, and I am absolutely over the moon to say that after hundreds of hours and hundreds of pounds, my humble 2 by 4 foot desktop railway layout is now completed. I've really enjoyed working on this over the last couple of months, and I'd say there's some areas, such as the farmhouse garden here, that have turned out just how I imagined and hoped they would, and there's certainly, on the flip side, some areas that haven't quite worked out in the way that I'd imagined. But over the course of the last few months, I have learnt so much stuff that I'm actually already contemplating and trying to figure out what on earth my next layout project is going to be. So if anybody has any ideas for something interesting or maybe something a little bit different, whether that's N-Gage or Double O, please do let me know. And if anybody can come up with something that's a little bit cheaper to get into, that would certainly be appreciated as well. Perhaps I'll take up drawing. But in all seriousness, I've absolutely loved this. I love models and railway stuff. It's just been a fantastic project, and I can't wait to build another one. Now, you can see here for this opening section of the video, I really just want to zoom in and show you some of the details. So I quite like this little section. The crops, I think, turned out really well after being something that weighed on my mind for a while. Those tiny little die-cast scarecrows there. But look, over the tree there, there's a farmer who doesn't trust the scarecrows to keep the birds away on their own by the looks of it. And yeah, as we zoom around the layout here, I've got to say, one of the things I'm quite lucky with is that because I'd started working on different layout projects before that never came to fruition, I had a lot of these buildings from Metcalfe already built, and that saved me an awful lot of heartache over the last couple of months where I was trying to get progress going with some sort of pace, and then obviously the Metcalfe buildings, I spend an awful lot of time trying to do them as well as I can, and I really love this station building as well. The station building, one of my 3 favourite Metcalfe kits. So I've got the station building, the church, and the pub. All 3 of my favourite kits that I've done so far, and they're all on the layout. So again, I absolutely love it. This view I quite like as well, because you can see, even though the layout is a simple, small, flat layout, and that was a deliberate choice because I thought I've already got so much learning to do with all of the different things from ballasting to creating general scenery from urban to a rural environment. I don't want to add in trying to sculpt little hills and roll in countryside and so on as well. And I was concerned that being flat, it would look very plain and bare. And I think I've just added an overwhelming amount of stuff to the rural section. I was concerned I'd gone overboard with the mud, but in real life, in all the places that I wander around and take my little boat and so on, there's an awful lot of mud around. Even on a beautiful sunny day like this one, you can see that there's any number of different ways that hooves and paws get into the ground. And I mean, you can see in this pigsty here, in the most literal sense, this pig pen, there's an awful lot of mud around there. So all of the buildings on the layout are from Metcalfe, and like I say, a lot of them, luckily, I had built previously. Things like the station and the school and some of the terraced house parts I hadn't worked on, so those were a lot of hours spent from the whole project in recent months just putting these together, because I try and do them as well as I can. I think doing these low relief terraced house backs to add to the low relief terraced house fronts to make them into a complete building, that was probably the biggest waste of time, because even though I love the buildings and I love the kits, you can see that where they're placed on my layout, adding that extra inch or so of cardboard with an awful lot of hours, probably the best part of 10 hours there, and you can see almost none of the details. And you can see here a more complex kit like the church, for example. Well, this is why I say it would have been an awful lot longer before I was doing this video had I not done certain areas such as the church prior to starting the overall layout project. So I just want to zoom in on some random features here. Again, I just tried to create little things like this old well that's been boarded up and the farmers have tried to cover up, which is a classic sort of thing I see when I'm out and about, like leaky troughs and leaky pipes that are meant to go up to the fields for the animals and so on. Yeah, I've just tried to create just little elements and areas that are true to life, even though the layout itself doesn't have a particular time frame. It's just somewhere before World War II, really, I just consider it. And yeah, I just really love this project itself. If you can see, we've got a chap here mending the fence or building a fence here to stop everybody making a muddy track to hop over the wall into the churchyard. Now, when I say I love this project, I'm not trying to say that I think I've done an amazing high-level job. I've done the best job that I can. What I mean to say is that I've just loved this project itself. And when I look at how it started a few years ago when I was trying different layout sizes and so on, before the start of this year deciding to keep it simple on one 2x4 desktop rather than what you can see here, which was two 2x4 desktops together, after the sheer amount of hours and cost involved, I dread to think how long it would have taken me to complete a project that was 2x8 foot. And also, I certainly don't know if I would have been able to finance and fund the entire project. One of the best decisions I made was to go away from one of these large ovals on the desktop, which initially I thought, oh yeah, it's great and it's satisfying to see your little loco going around and making these nice long sweeping straights and so on. However, I would say that the reason that my layout has turned out as well as I hoped it would is because I went for that smaller oval, which allowed me more room on either side of the layout to create a proper little urban area and a proper little rural scene with the church and the pub. Whereas here, I could have only had the centre of the layout to work on any sort of sizable scenery element. And also, the reason I'd already got so many low relief buildings created was because there was literally no space for them to go on the layout as full buildings with their own sections. And you can see the footprint of the white school building there to the right hand side of the screen. I mean, that simply would not have fit if I had gone for a large oval, and that would have then meant trying to squeeze the rural and the urban and everything else inside the oval with just some sort of very almost just a gesture of a scene and a gesture of scenery around the outside perimeter. So yeah, overall, I'm absolutely really pleased with this and I've really enjoyed working on it. So thank you so much for everyone who's tuned in to this video and to the progress videos as it was all coming together. Thank you so much for all the comments, even the ones that were slightly more critical of my work than I would have liked. It was all ultimately constructive and helped give me ideas and keep everything going forwards. So thank you so much to everybody out there. Please do check out my other videos for a load more stuff with regards to model railways. And yeah, check the links in the description. I'm always doing something somewhere on the internet. Have a fantastic day, keep it interesting, keep it loco-worthy, and of course, my friends, farewell.